Today, I want to share with you a little bit about how Generous Generations was started. We lovingly refer to Generous Generations as Gen G. In 2023, our friends and now our dear partners at the Global Children's Forum, they invited me to join them in Sao Paulo, Brazil, where there were leaders. There were probably about 110 leaders from all around the world gathered together, and 14 of those leaders volunteered their time to help us brainstorm Gen G. And they helped us to think of ways that we could present the resources. Today, we have the booklet available in 14 languages and all of our videos currently translated into 47 different languages. What are our children learning from the world about what it means to be happy? I want to tell you a story about a grandmother. This grandmother told the story about her little granddaughter who came up to her and said, "Gogo, you know when I will be really happy? Is when I have a phone just like my friends." Think about that for a moment. Not when she helps someone, not when she prays for someone in need, not even when she's with her family, but when she owns something that she doesn't yet have. And so that led me to the question. I wondered, who is giving her that message? Who is teaching her that? Today's children are constantly fed one message through the media. That's through YouTube, through television, radio, and even school books. That message is, you are what you own. If you buy more, you can be more. And we know that that is a lie. In his book, The War on Children, John MacArthur says the following. He says, Satan's war on children is a war on God because the children belong to God. And we know that our children belong to God and that they are on loan to us. It is a privilege for us to steward and care for them. And one of Satan's main weapons is the weapon of consumerism. Did you know that in some countries, children see up to 10,000 advertisements in 1 year? And every message is shaping what these children believe about money, about identity, and happiness. Our children are being discipled, and they are discipled not into generosity, not into truth, but they're discipled into greed, into comparison, and discontent. And so they learn to chase things, not character. They learn to value self and not sacrifice. In Ephesians 2, verse 2, Paul reminds us that there is a spirit at work in the world. And that spirit is called the prince of the power of the air. Isn't it interesting that television and the media our children consume today through YouTube is through the air? Jesus said in Luke chapter 12, verse 15, "Watch out, be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." And that is the very opposite of the generous life that God calls us to raise in our children. And we can see the fruit. And then there's this deep emptiness because we know that things will never fill a child's soul. But how can we then teach our children to fear God, to speak the truth, to guard their minds, to live a life that is generous? It starts, we believe, in our homes, in our families, in our churches and schools. And we are not powerless. We are parents, mothers and fathers, mentors and leaders, pastors. And we are the disciple makers. We have access to these children every day. So our vision is to raise up this generation, or many different generations rather, of generous children and youth who will grow into these values, who will grow up with these values, so that when they are teenagers and young adults, they have handles to hold on to and to make decisions based on these values that are already in their hearts. Barna's research shows us that the happiest children are the generous ones. These children have a sense of purpose. They seem to understand that scripture that Jesus gave, it's more blessed to give than to receive. We always say that generosity is not separate from the gospel. It is part of the gospel. Jesus gave. God gave because he loved. He gave first. And so we want children to understand that. And in their love for their friends, for people in their community, we believe that when children understand biblical generosity, they will see a need and they will jump to help meet that need. And remember that it's not just about money. It's about giving time, giving talent, giving kindness, and sharing your gifts with others, your skills with others. So what makes Gen G unique is that it is a fun and enriching experience that can be shared anywhere. I'm going to show you a testimony from Ghana of a leader there who presented Gen G.
Hi, my name is Rachel Apokosaki, and I want to say it's been an awesome time encountering Gen G when my team worker coach Enoch Lateapo introduced Gen G to us. Though it looks like a new thing, but experimenting it has brought tremendous transformation to our style of reaching out to children, both in the slums and then in the urban areas. Aside that, this year, impact it is giving us, since we started experimenting it, in our life brought a different flavor from all the flavors we know.
Giving something to someone without regrets.
And out of it, one of the testimony that really touched my heart so much, it's when we're doing review on the lessons we've done with the children.
And generosity is giving your all without doubting about it.
Selfless and giving something out from your heart.
The way the message has really driven down with the pattern Gen G gave us to be able to help us to really teach them in an easy way without much struggles. We want to say a big thank you for Gen G giving us the opportunity to partner with them. And for me, I say Gen G has come to stay. And we are going to carry the firebrand of Gen G worldwide, helping them to know it's one of the greatest tools we can use to turn our generation around to be generous and bringing the light of God. Thank you, Gen G, for partnering with us.
1, 2, 3, 4. Happy
Isn't it just so inspiring to hear that story, a testimony from a leader who implemented Gen G in their camps? So Gen G is a fun and enriching experience built on 3 key elements: game, gather, and give. It starts with a game. The children play a game that highlights the theme of the day, and then they gather together around a Bible story, around an animation. And by the way, the animations are all true stories of children that we've spoken to or heard from and animated their stories to protect their identity. So then the kids watch this animation or they read about this Bible story and they learn from scripture about that specific value we want them to know about. And then we move on to the giving challenge. We don't only want children to learn about generosity, but we want them to implement it. We want them to do it, to experience it. And all of the giving challenges were written in such a way that anybody around the world can do them. So while we have the children's 12-session experience, we also have something coming up very soon called Youth Conversations. But we want to get the youth together. Youth have a different language. They want to help figure it out themselves. They don't want to just be told how to live generously. They want to come up with the answers. And if you want to know more about it, join the Multiply Connect Gen G WhatsApp group. We will share that information with you. Then another thing that we discovered is that some of the parents contacted us and said, well, our children are learning about generosity, but what about us? Don't you have something for us? And so we said, well, we can put something together that is almost like the children's discipleship experience. And we put together the adult generosity discipleship experience. Anywhere that you want to, you can implement that. And it is so easy to follow. Our Multiply training is available online. It's free. It's easy to use. And if you don't have access to the internet, do not worry. We can make it available to you on WhatsApp or via email as well. So at Gen G, we believe that every single child can become a disciple of Jesus who lives generously and helps others to do the same. And that is the heart of our multiplication strategy. It is designed so anyone, anywhere can begin with a story, a conversation, and a desire to walk alongside others. And at the same time, we will walk alongside you as leaders to help you become a multiplier, to multiply generosity. The Multiply Connect sessions, we have them about once a month, sometimes every 2 months. And this is where we train you. We alongside you. We work with you to build this movement in your country, in your region, in your village, in your town, wherever you may be. So you're invited to join the movement, to see generous children and youth raised up, to become the next generation of young adults and adults who live according to the principle, it's more blessed to give than to receive. So how can you join? You can use the QR code or the number on the screen. Simply hold your camera up to the screen, scan the QR code, or you can take down the number and join the WhatsApp group. We're going to be sharing information about our upcoming training sessions soon on that WhatsApp group so that you can start multiplying too. So do keep your eye on that. And in closing, yes, there is a war on our children, but we are not powerless in this war. And generosity is one of the most powerful weapons we can pass on to our children and our youth. Let's raise a generation who rejects the lie that joy comes from getting. Let's help them discover the joy that comes from giving. Thank you for your time today. May God strengthen you, guide you, and give you wisdom as you raise generous children in a greedy world. God bless you.